Hello, fabulous superstar Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2018. Looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. We have an active sky playing out right now, and that's kind of an understatement, to be honest. To say that it is active really doesn't do it service. It is karmic, and in some ways it is also monumental, and I don't say that lightly. So what is going on? Well, it can be summed up in one word: eclipse. Two words: eclipse season. Really, eclipse season starts now, but this is a different type of eclipse season. What we're having this month is, normally you get two eclipses back to back, 2 weeks apart. What's different now is that we are going to have 3 eclipses back to back, which means eclipse season will start right around the 12th of the month and will extend right into next month as well. Now, for the eclipse next month, I'll talk about it when we get there. But for now, for this month, we've got 2 eclipses. Now, when eclipse season begins, it is said by the ancients a time to be when the veils between the worlds is especially thin, which means it becomes that much easier to see how our external circumstances are really about playing out some deeper spiritual lesson. It becomes a lot more about being able to recognize the karmicness of what is transpiring now. Eclipses are intimately involved with the nodes of the moon. Now, the nodes is something I've been talking about quite a bit lately. I've been talking about it on Synchronicity University. I've been talking about it in person in the classes I've done, because they're so important to me where it comes to looking at astrology and looking at the sky. Ultimately, they represent the karmic urge that this soul has. What is it that the soul desires to do? What is the soul intention beyond what it is that you think you want and why you want it? What's going on a deeper level? Well, when eclipses come about, what they do is they align you with what's happening on a deeper level, and they align you with ultimately a higher, more loving vision for your life, and a vision that is about moving you towards greater love and greater wisdom than you knew before. So what's happening? The first eclipse is happening for you in a part of the sky that has to do with money that you earn and money that you spend, among other things, and we'll talk about the other things in a moment. But let me say this is a solar eclipse. It is new, sudden changes that are actually really, really good. I think you are going to love this energy. Sometimes we see an eclipse that maybe doesn't feel as easy. This is different. Yes, there is a lot of intensity. There's a lot of power at this time. But there's also a whole lot of blessing and a whole lot of harmony, and new opportunities, new financial opportunities can find you seemingly out of nowhere. It's like their time has come. But really, this is just a glimpse. Once we get into next year, you'll start having a series of eclipses in this part of your sky for the better part of the next year and a half. I'll be here to talk about it as we go along, but suffice it to say, this is where it begins. So what's happening with this eclipse? It is creating a grand trine with Neptune and with Jupiter, magnifying the element of blessings and fortunate occurrences, and new, really, because it's a solar eclipse. It's about the new and the next coming into your life. Pluto across from this eclipse adds power and adds intensity as well, and adds a need to trust the fate of where it is that you are meant to be next. So for some of you, very practical, right? New financial opportunities show up, new chances to make money that make you look very differently at how you understand your potential to create prosperity for yourself, maybe understand differently what prosperity actually is for you. This can also be a time when you become aware of how you could actually spend some money to make more money, or at the very least, make a purchase that is tremendously important to you. Now, all eclipses can have a little bit of a surprise factor to them, so the opportunity to make this purchase may come up a little bit out of nowhere. Of course, always listen to yourself and listen to your intuition. That's going to be really important at this time, because it's not always what you think it is, and when it's right, it has a way of flowing. It has a way of not necessarily feeling like a struggle, and especially when it's an eclipse, it just shows up and it's just very karmic. So if somebody says to you, look, I can make your dreams come true, just give me whatever whatever it is that's a lot of money for you, whether it's $10,000 or $100,000, then that's where, if your intuition is telling you like, look, I know I really, really want this, but something's not feeling right here, that's okay. You can honor that. Remember, opportunity is infinite. Just like the universe is infinite and abundant, opportunity is infinite and abundant as well. The other thing is, this can help you to see and understand and contemplate what prosperity is for you differently, what money is for you differently, what's worth doing and what's not worth doing. So it could be a great opportunity that comes, but you realize it's not the right opportunity for you. It could be that you've been doing something all along, but you realize you're ready to do something very different. So these are the types of things that can show up. Another layer of this, of course, has to do with things like self-esteem and self-worth, and you could make a real breakthrough of seeing yourself more lovingly at this eclipse. As we move towards the later part of the month, the second eclipse is going to take place. This is a lunar eclipse at that, and it is happening in fellow air sign Aquarius. This is an eclipse that is a little bit different in energy because it is happening hand in hand with Mars and speaking with Uranus. Now, if you remember, I spoke to you a couple of months ago about Mars retrograde season. Well, this month, all month, Mars is retrograde. And having this eclipse take place very close to Mars tells me that there's almost an urgency that transpires now that is magnified thanks to Uranus. And it also tells me that emotions and energy may be running very high. Because Mars is retrograde, you may have to hold back a little bit as well. It is a lunar eclipse, which means an ending may very well be part of this. And again, it may come up very much out of nowhere to be addressed. A couple of things to remember here. Remember that eclipses are karmic. Ultimately, they are about you understanding what's part of your spiritual journey going forward and what maybe is not so much, doesn't feel right for you anymore. That could be part of this energy. The other part of this energy has to do with trusting that you are being led to better things, whether it's greater love and greater wisdom is very much going to be part of this energy at this time as we get to the later part of the month. This eclipse is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your place in the world. It has to do with long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, and legal matters as well. If you are someone who is traveling at this time, just know that give yourself a lot of time because a lot of things can happen that are unexpected and that take you by surprise. However, this can also be a trip that changes you very deeply and very fundamentally, that makes you understand your place in the world differently and see other cultures and other religions differently. The opportunity to travel can come very much by surprise at this time, but remember, what I recently came to understand very deeply in my recent trip to Chicago for the UAC conference was that all journeys are spiritual. Every journey is spiritual, and we just tend to be more aware of it when we are in a new place, out of our comfort zone, out of the places where we are in routine. But ultimately, every journey is spiritual. And if you can understand that, then you'll allow yourself to be changed, to see the world, really the world, differently than you have before. Now, of course, as I said, immigration, citizenship matters can come into focus at this time. If you are in an institute of higher learning, that can also come into focus with this, and legal matters as well can come to a close very quickly as well. Ultimately, as I said, trust the karma. Trust the karma and know that what it is that changes can change very quickly, but ultimately is part of moving you towards greater love and greater wisdom as well. And this is about closures, okay? So it's not about something new coming out of nowhere. It's closures, things coming to an end. The quickness of it can be a surprise, but ultimately it is likely to represent something that you've already been engaged in or an ongoing matter. Now, where it comes to matters of love, let's talk about love, because Venus is on the move this month, and Venus is going to move into the very bottom of your sky, a very personal part of your sky. And I think that this is going to be important for you. With Venus moving here, it's like love becomes very private. Love becomes something very close to the heart, close to the chest. It is ultimately something that you're not feeling like you want to, parade around the world, but rather it's about having that space to connect with somebody more intimately. If you are open to meeting someone new, really some of the best opportunities you're going to have in love will come as a result of spending time with your family, particularly your family of origin, or even allowing one of your parents to set you up with somebody, if that applies and if that seems feasible for you. Well, that is something that you could do in the weeks ahead, in the last 3 weeks of the month. You've got better than usual chances of that actually going quite well. If you are in an established bond, Venus moving into the base of your sky tells me that you very likely are going to want to have private time with your partner and create that sacred space between the two of you, to shut the door and to know that there's something between the two of you that nobody else can interfere with, or ultimately there's an understanding of what it is that you are protecting, and that appreciation of how valuable this relationship is to you will allow it to grow that much stronger. What I love about this month for you is that, look, I know I made that second eclipse sound like a really big deal, and it might be, but at the end of the day, it is happening in fellow air sign, which means that whatever transpires, you're able to use it that much more easily and that much more to your advantage. You're able to understand and see the wisdom playing out. That is this part of the sky where this eclipse is happening. It's very much about your wisdom as well, and the philosophy with which you view the world and you interact with the world. And where it is that there have been blocks, where it is that you have held the world back, you're about to recognize it and free yourself of those bonds, knowing that you truly are connected to everyone and everything. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.